what's happened in the last video.
Call connects. Oh hey! Oh dear! Oh no!
And here is more MrDudeManSir.
Oh no. It's Ukaba lying in the fetal position. I found a scrap of clothing to cover her shivering body. When I first lay eyes upon her naked... I am entranced by the sensuality of her generous proportions, far more mature than I would have expected from her usual pure and innocent appearance. Wait, forget about that. Why is she in my bedroom naked? Moreover, why is she... Well, Fuminori, how does she look to you? Well, she's beautiful, but why can I... Doesn't make any sense. There's no question that the naked woman in front of me is Tsukaba remember. She isn't the putrid creature whose attentions I found so unbearable after the accident. My senses recognized her as the human that she is. This girl likes you, you know. I do know. I've never told Saya, however. How did she find out? So I decided to change her body into one that can be loved by you. Saya pauses to gauge my reaction, then continues with a satisfied nod. Wait a second. Earlier I heard that she was melting, and now she looks normal. So obviously these creatures, well, you know, Saya and now Yo, are not human looking to normal people. So they are, not look normal to normal people. So, they have to be some sort of alien succubus creature thing, blob of something. Maybe. I made her like me. What? How? You know, the mind thing, she still has that. I still don't understand what led Saya to choose Yo. But even more incomprehensible is what she just said. She changed Yo's body? Don't you remember what I said the other day? I have the ability to mold the bodies of other living things. Yeah, I remember. She said that she'd done something to my neighbor Suzumi's brain. I hadn't doubted her sincerity, but I hadn't seen what she'd done to Suzumi with my own eyes either. I guess that until now I thought that she had been self-exaggerating, half-exaggerating. But now, with Yo like this, it was a big change this time. Not like the little tweak I made in the Nan next door. But this is how my abilities are really meant to be used. This was my first time doing it though. Is this really though, Yo? It might be a strange question, but considering that she looks exactly like Yo, but I know better than anyone that she is not supposed to look like herself to me. Yo finally notices my presence and turns her head to face me. I can see a faint glimmer of recognition in her glassy, unfocused eyes. It's the way Yo used to look at me. How can I forget it? This is far beyond mere cosmetic surgery. Once a twisted creature unrecognizable as human, Yo is now the very image of human femininity. There was no simulator between what she was and what she is, which means that Yo has become something utterly inhuman. According to science, she has become what Saya is. No one on this planet knows more about the anatomy of Homo sapiens than I do, Saya declares, her voice filled with pride at her first creation. I studied a lot after all. Studied? How did you learn this? Who taught you? When and where? She couldn't have learned it from Professor Ogai. No teacher on Earth will be able to impart such knowledge of skill to Saya. This is far beyond human capabilities. Come on, don't you remember what you've been filling me with every... Oh? Saya blushes. I knew it was something to do with that. I remembered. I marked it in my mind, even though how disgusting it was to mark it in my mind. I remember. That's like a blueprint for the human body. But you know, there's only 26 chromosomes or whatever the freak are in those, and then there's so many different variations of them, so just the more you get does not make you more, you know, at the beginning of this game it said the medical procedure is not the real, so I'm just gonna go with that, but it doesn't make sense. What is she, really? I've accepted that she isn't human, but there's more to her than just that. Saya is something that far transcends my species. It was my first time though, so I didn't go as well as it should. Oh, so that's why she turned into some sort of flesh creature with like some sort of weird, you know, monster thing, and then raped, you know, her to get more data. GG, Saya. Nice thinking. Well played. When Saya approaches, Yo trembles in terror and tries to crawl away, but she is only able to flail her arms and legs wildly. It's like she doesn't know how to move her own body. And the only sounds coming from her mouth are frightened moans. She can't talk? Yeah, Saya sighs, shaking her head regretfully. Unfortunately, her mind seems to have broken. It did take a whole 20 hours for the change to finish after all. I feel like a little bad for her. She must have suffered a lot. Yo looks up at me pleadingly, as though begging me to save her. She is no longer able to ask me for help, though, nor even to call my name. Well, Saya asked, her eyes shining with anticipation, do you like her? I'm at a loss for how to respond. What do you mean? You said you wanted family and friends, didn't you? That's why I got this present for you. Her innocent explanation only confuses me further. A present? Come on, it's not like she's a puppy. There's not much difference. Her head is totally empty after all. I'm happy that Saya wants to please me, but she could use a little more common sense. It's not that. Holding a person captive is probably a lot harder than you think. Don't worry about it. Look, I have her chained up. The only thing preventing Yo from being totally naked is the leather collar around her neck. I have no idea where Saya got it from, but it's the kind of dog collar that would be sold in any pet store. And attached to it is a chrome chain that is fastened to one of the bedposts. This game literally tries to appease every single fetish known to mankind. I'm not even gonna name all of them, but there's a lot of them. Yo tries to get away again, but Saya tends her sprawling with a tug of the chain. Yo falls clumsily onto the floor, squealing in pain. Her actions are those of an unintelligent animal, just as Saya said. The only fetish that hasn't been appeased just yet is a maid. I bet Yo will be the maid. And besides, it's not like she can do anything complicated like escape to get help anymore. See, there's nothing to worry about, is there? Saya has a point. I was racking my brain trying to come up with a plan to kill Tsukaba Yo, but now my problem has been solved in a way that I never even imagined. If a normal person looks upon her now, they'll probably have no trace whatsoever of the old Yo. And if she has no memories and can't even speak, it's perfect. Saya has killed Yo without even taking her life. There's still the problem of what Saya means by giving Yo to me. However, you're not happy? Saya asked dejectedly. Her confidence suddenly gone, as though it was never there. Did I misunderstand again? Is there a problem for you? No. I can take good care of it all by myself. I won't let her make things difficult for you. So, can't she stay? That's not it. The last thing I want is to reject the symbol of Saya's affection. But how can I explain to Saya that the reason I can't look at the naked woman writhing on the floor? It's not that. Yo is the first human figure besides Saya that I've seen in 3 months since the accident. And she's a woman. A woman positively glowing with voluptuous feminine beauty. Of course I'm happy, but I also can't ignore the voice of reason that's telling me not to be. I'm happy, really, but if I show how pleased I am, I'm worried that you'll... Saya looks puzzled, as though she has absolutely no idea what I'm getting at. I mean, look, she's still a girl, right? Don't you balk at the thought of me living with another girl? After considering this briefly, Saya finally seems to understand what I'm trying to say. Of course not, you're thinking way too much. Maybe I'm worrying too much, although I'm pretty sure that I'm just showing the consideration that any man who's sworn his love to a woman would show. Or maybe Saya doesn't understand that a man faced with a woman's naked body can't help but react regardless of his feelings. He has a boner, probably. Haha, how funny! You are kind, Fuminori. Yeah. I only did this so that she would be able to please you. If you like her and enjoy spending time with her, then I'll be happy to. You have nothing to be shy about. I hate to say this, but I struggle to find the right words to express my true feelings. Men are, well, really depraved creatures, and... I mean, Yo's body has features that are still totally different than yours, right? So even though it's totally different from my love for you, I can't help but, get aroused. With each word that I squeeze my lips, Saya seems more and more amused, until finally she starts shaking with laughter. I know, Saya exclaims jovially, patting my shoulder with one hand and wiping the tears of mirth from her eyes with the other. There's no reason to be ashamed of your natural male instincts, is there? If you're really that worried, let me join in when— oh. Yep, this game really tries to appease literally every fetish possible. Are you sure? It's a face of seriousness. Saya answers me with a smile that I've never seen before. It is calm, so terribly calm. And there is something bewitching about the soft set of her lips that makes it wholly unlike her usual bright, child's smile. You and I are lovers, and Tsukabayo is our pet. She'll be reminded of when we play with her every day from now on. I finally know why Saya chose Yo, for the venom in her voice and smile doesn't escape me. Although she can no longer answer, if asked, Yo would surely have chosen to be killed rather than to meet this end. I have no doubt that what is experiencing now is a fate worse than death, which is the very reason that Saya did this to her. Please give me a choice. I want the choice to either have her as a pet or turn her back to normal. Please give me that choice. How wicked and terrible Saya is. Perhaps others would fear and loathe her. To me, however, her malevolence is irresistibly charming. The horrifying cruelty of what she has done to Yo is so very human. Though her shape may be different, her soul is the same as ours. When I look up at Yo's wretched form, I see the intensity and passion of Saya's love for me. For the flames that have consumed Yo's are fueling by very low. Very low. I find myself enthusiastically accepting Saya's no choice! Saya, do you like this pet too? Yeah, she's very pretty and feels good to touch. So you'll be able to enjoy playing with her too, right? I don't have to hold back, do I? Of course I will! Grinning happily, Saya grabs the chain and pulls Yo to her feet. Ah! Try touching her. She's nice and soft. Okay. As Yo looks at me with teary, pleaded eyes, I approach and let my gaze roam freely over her lush body and cool. I run my cool and smooth Saya's enjoying the feel. I continue to gently caress Yo's head. You know, this is very— it would be— this— I don't know how to feel about this! Her fearful expression softens a little. Perhaps she remembers me in some part of her mind, and still thinks that I am someone who will be kind to her. Oh, foolish. Yep. Yep. I stopped stroking it, but I stroke some other things. She flinches. Pain and rough treatment, but I ignore and continue with cool. Lust demands. Really soft though. Cool. I can't get this feeling from Saya. Woohoo. I grabbed them, and yep, I'm skipping this so hard you won't even know. Whoa. That was intense. Oh my. That was some hardcore, like anything you can think of. There was 3 ways, there was Paizuri, too many things. Yeah. Okay, yep, I don't think it's over. It was already so long, it's the longest one yet, and it's still going. I cannot believe this. What is going on here? I thought it was over, but it's not, and there's some— okay, yeah, it's definitely not over. That was a thing. That went on for at least 10 minutes. It flipped through many pictures. It didn't even have a storyline. It did not have anything other than just like, hey, yep, 3-way, cool, Paizuri, okay, yep, let's— kinky, sure. And that's the entire thing. So, yep. Saya's sleeping in my arms. Cool. A new home, new food, new family, all granted to me By Saya. To soothe my despair, she has selflessly led me to the brink of death to find a new joy. And I, too, have changed. I have killed 2 people who were nuisances to me, and have made the third my mindless. Yep. Yet, despite all that I have done, I am still able to sleep peacefully. Without a doubt, I am no longer the Saisaka Fuminori I once was. How far will Saya go? What will I become? I feel somewhat unsure, though not discouraged, about the unknown world into which we are heading. And so, while playing with Saya's hair, I ask, Saya, just what are you? I don't expect an answer. If Saya is asleep or doesn't want to respond, I don't mind. Saya turns to me, however, and draws my gaze into the deep holes of her eyes. It's kind of hard to explain. She thinks for a while, as though searching for the right words, and says simply, "You know the dandelion flower, the one that scatters its seed out in the wind?" "Yeah." "The wind carries those fluffy seeds far and far from where they were born. What if one of them lands up in a desert where there's not even a single blade of grass growing? If you can imagine how that lone seed will feel, then you might be able to understand me." As I consider Saya's answer, she doesn't make me understand any more what she is other than she's a loner. She continues her story. "The seed is a baby plant, after all. If it does its best, it can turn even a desert into a garden. Maybe that little seed will decide to try its hardest. Maybe it will decide to grow and multiply so that it can turn the whole desert into a field of dandelions. What do you think? What do you think can give that dandelion seed the strength to do so?" What? Saya smiles softly and caresses my cheek. "All it needs is to be loved by one person in the whole desert. All it needs is to be told how pretty dandelions are." A loving touch of her slender fingers fills me with peace and joy. "I love you." I pull her into my chest, nodding silently. "Stay with me forever. Never leave my side." "Of course." But she didn't explain anything! Ugh! I want her to come out as a succubus and it would be great. Basking in the soft warmth of our love for each other, we sink into the oblivion of sleep. Although I do realize that Saya is going to never stop until she basically transforms everybody in the entire area or world into whatever she is. Except me, because reasons. He has been buried alive. His whole world in the silence and cold of the grave. Ever since his voice gave out and he lost his strength to scream, no coherent thought has run through Kyoji's mind. Perhaps his brain is being merciful by shutting down, by forgetting who he is and why he is trapped in this dark well. He is able to ignore the freezing cold that is gradually draining his life. Instead, he dreams. Images flash before his eyes, random unconnected scenes from his 20-odd years of life. Not all are of happy times, there are sad, painful memories as well. But even these are merciful, for they are pleasantly warm compared to the death that is approaching him. He dreams of mountains. His older brother had taken him hunting for insects when he was a child. They'd sealed the butterflies that wouldn't fit into the cage in a plastic bag, and later found the bag filled with wings of suffocated butterflies. He dreams of his lover. They'd met in Mixer, where he'd been the only one to realize that she couldn't hold her liquor. After she'd had so much to drink, he'd looked after her while she was vomited in the back alley. They toasted each other with canned juice, and then he dreams that he is diving into a black depths of a nice sea. When he reaches the bottom, he looks up to see the moon shining through the surface of the water. As he gazes up at the circle of light, entranced by its roundness and brilliance, he listens absently to the distant sound of a car. Something still conscious within him tells him that his dream is wrong. Have you ever gone diving in the ocean at night before? The dots begin to connect in his mind, forming a barrier to separate his dreams from reality. What is bothering him? Of course the car. You can hear the sound of an engine coming from far away. The engine noise gradually changes to a low idling, then abruptly gives way to silence, following by the sound of a door opening and closing. It sounds like someone drove up and got out of a car. This isn't a dream. These sounds are real. Understanding comes like a sudden blow. This isn't the bottom of a sea, and that circle of light isn't the moon. It's the mouth of the well. The sun has already risen, and someone is right outside with a car. The last piece of the puzzle falls into place, and he becomes Tono Kyoji once more. "Help me!" Kyoji shouts, surprised by how easily his voice emerges. Perhaps he is desperate enough to subconsciously block out the pain of his raw throat. "Hey, I'm down here in the well! Help me!" He keeps screaming with all of his might. Soon, the echoes of the cramped well become deafening, and he is no longer sure if his screams have meaning or if he is just howling wordlessly. Nevertheless, he continues. His only desire is to be heard, so that whoever is out there will know that he is dying at the bottom of this well. Kyoji's wait is not long, but it feels like it's an eternity when spent at the boundary of a hope and despair. Soon the circle of light above him is partially eclipsed by the silhouette of a person staring down into the well. "Tono-kun, are you alive?" It's a woman, although her voice is not familiar. Kyoji has heard it somewhere before, for some reason. However, she can't remember who it belongs to. "Just hold on, I'll get you out of there." The silhouette vanishes, restoring the light into a perfect circle. Fear of being left alone again threatens to send Kyoji into a panic, but his reason was recovered enough for him to resist the urge. "She said she's going to get me out," he reminds himself. "I haven't been abandoned." While waiting, he gingerly tensed down his body, which he had forgotten all about until now. His joints ache and his fingers and toes are numb, but nothing is completely immovable. Though exhausted, he's definitely still in one piece. After some time, the silhouette reappears at the top of the well. "Are you hurt? Can you climb a rope on your own?" "No, I don't think so." Kyoji lacks the confidence to attempt such a feat with his fingers barely moving. Oh well, I'm coming down." After a brief pause, the owner of the voice tosses a knotted climbing rope into the well. He grabs the rope as soon as it reaches him, a definite presence filling him with a true relief. Finally, freed from his despair, he is able to start asking questions specifically. Who is his savior? The rope shakes as the woman climbs carefully down the ladder, the beam from the floodlight slung over her shoulder, pushing back the shadow cast from her body. She is soon standing in the same mud as Kyoji, and finds himself face to face with... the doctor? What? What? Were you expecting so? Well, yes. Kyoji couldn't have imagined that his savior would turn out to be Dr. Tombo Ryoko, neurosurgeon at the Tokyo University Medical Center. Instead of a white gown and tight skirt, she's wearing a heavy leather coat, denim jeans, and boots with no heel. Her practical clothes have made it clear that she is expected to end up hiking through the mountains. She's carrying not a flashlight, but an all-purpose lamp that can be toggled between a large electric floodlight and smaller side-mounted fluorescent lights. It's obviously survival gear, rather than the sort of thing you'd find in an emergency kit. Oh, I remember that call that he made before he was pushed into the well. It was to her, but she never answered. Until now. "You look awful," Dr. Tombo says wryly as she looks Kyoji up and down. "Here, drink this." She pulls a flash out of her pocket and hands it to him. "Don't chug it. Go slow, taking small sips. It should help a little." "Thank you." Walking around with a flask is like something a middle-aged alcoholic man will do. Maybe Kyoji's just old-fashioned, but he can't help but think that he's just not in some sort of item like a young female doctor should be carrying. Nevertheless, he unscrews the cap and takes a swig, and struggles to keep from coughing as the potent liquid sears his tongue. What is this? Spiritus vodka. It's good as an antileptic or disinfectant, and also does a fine job of setting certain things on fire. Her straightforward nonsense tone makes it clear that she is quite serious. Kyoji can only make a gape at the doctor, the dark smile on her face doing little to ease his confusion. Is she really Dr. Tombo Ryoko? There's no trace of the bookish, mild-mannered Dr. Kyoji met at this hospital. Her expression is set in a hard mask, and her eyes are sharp and wary. In the darkness at the bottom of the well, it is possible, however unlikely, that the change in her features is caused by the ominous shadows cast by her lamp. It's not so easy, however, to explain the change in her demeanor. Why are you here? You're the one who called me, aren't you? Ryoko replies brusquely, glaring at Kyoji like she would be a student who just said something foolish. I get a strange message from someone who's off looking for a missing person, but neither he or his friend answers when I try to call back. Am I supposed to think everything's fine? No. Although Kyoji still doesn't understand why she acted so quickly. It's a different part that what she just said and seizes his attention. Wait, what about Tsukaba? You called Tsukaba Yo too? I did, but she didn't pick up either. To be honest, I figured you were both corpses already. Why? I mean, I know that there's been one death so far, but you shouldn't just assume people have died because they gone missing for like a day. That doesn't make much sense, but okay. Anger and frustration well up inside him. He can't forgive Fuminori's betrayal, nor can he forgive himself for his foolishness. And now he has no idea if Tsukaba Yo is safe. Fuminori tried to kill Kyoji. Could he have done the same to... Calm down, why don't you? Ryoko says irritably, without even looking at him. Getting all mad here won't solve nothing. If you thought something was wrong, Kyoji says to her back, then you must have called the police, right? The police? Still engrossed in her examination of the walls, Ryoko laughs scornfully at the idea. So you still think this mess can be cleaned up like that, do you? What's that supposed to mean? Starting to get annoyed by her overbearing attitude, Kyoji is about to demand others when she cuts him off with a gesture that shines her light at a corner of the well. You didn't notice this, Tano-kun? Huh? In the light of the lamp, Kyoji sees that some sort of stones are clearly different in the rest of the wall. This must be what Ryoko was looking for while ignoring him. Huh? No, there wasn't enough light to see. Ryoko's gaze moves slowly along the wall, finally coming to rest on a gap between the two stones. The hole was just wide enough for an adult to reach the open-handed. You sure picked the right well to fall down in, Ryoko says with a grim smile. Like they say, expect the unexpected. She wastes no time in thrusting her hand into the opening. After she feels around for a few seconds, Kyoji hears the thunk of something solid coming from behind the wall. The doctor? Ryoko pulls her hand out and gives the different colored stones a gentle push. With the rumble of weights shifting, the stones slide smoothly back onto the wall. So that's how he fooled me. I had no idea this was here last time I came. You've been here before? Kyoji once answers, but Ryoko ignores him and peers into the opening. In the beam of her floodlight, Kyoji can see the concrete tunnel leading into the mountain. I'm gonna go on ahead, Tono-kun. You'd better stay here. Her warning is simple and utterly devoid of warmth. Considering his options, Kyoji looks from the tunnel into the rope and back again. He's practically sweating now, thanks to the nearly 200 proof vodka he just drank. But although feelings return to his fingers, he still doesn't seem to have the strength to climb up the rope. That said, that mere thought of being left alone again in the well makes him seem shivering. I'll go too. Please take me with you. Have it your way. Ryoko steps into the tunnel without looking back, and Kyoji doesn't hesitate to follow her.